Like I said, it's one of my first times in here. I actually did put this harness in this trans. The original one was all broken, so I did go that far in this trans right out of the gate. Pick right there. If any of you are gonna attempt this, these old guys are your friends for everything. If you don't have a set of picks, get yourself some. I have snap-ons, but you can literally get Harbor Freight ones for like $3. And they'll do just the same thing. There, get it completely out of the way. Exactly the way to do this. There, let's get a socket. In case you're wondering, an 1.25" socket. Pops that harness out very nicely. Now this is the part that scares me a little bit. Pulling this valve body out. There is, and don't quote me on this, I believe 6 check balls behind this body that will basically just come right out. So that's important. Also, when you do this, take note of how this is set up. This is your shift lever or actuator, whatever you want to call it. And that's the piston. It drives up and down to let the valve body know what gear you're asking for. You'll also get, you get springs and stuff like that down here. It's one thing I love about YouTubing is I kind of record everything. So if I get to a spot where I'm questioning, I can go back and check it. I'm gonna start getting this out. So these are all 8mm. There's 6 bolts. Be gentle about taking it out. kind of figured it's messy. Kind of suspected that one though. So this one being an electronic part, kind of want to put it on a rag. And then it looks like the rest of the valve body bolts are 10s. And I'm going to do this so some of you guys can reference if you're doing this at home. You have a clamp at the top toward the bell housing, top left. Your gear selector, 2 bolts here. You have a clamp 4 bolts down on the left for the wiring harness. And then you have this guy, which is also a clamp that holds this tube, which feeds fluid to the back of the trans. So let's start getting some of this stuff off. Take our clamp off first. See, like I said, if there's any of you watching have done this before, you're probably laughing at how long this has taken me already. Maybe not laughing, but you just know it doesn't take this long. You know, there's a lot of things I do day in and day out. Anything engine related, I can do in no time. When it comes to transmissions, I'm clueless. I wouldn't say scared, but cautious. So now we have 3, 6, 11, or 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16 bolts to take out. That just goes free. How was that? Squirts fluid out of there. Actually, I'm trying to clean this up a little bit. Never hurts to get some crud out first. I have not noticed any different length bolts yet. If I do, I'll notate that. Seems like they're all the same length. Like I said, behind this, there is check balls. I'm hoping I don't drop them. I'm hoping they stay where they're at so I can take note of where they're at. But I do have a manual, like I showed you earlier. So that will come in handy in case they do fall. I just hope that they fall in the pan where I can retrieve them easily. And these bolts, I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure these are only torqued to like 10 foot-pounds. So they're not, there we go, broke free. Almost instantly popped out on its own. I have an idea where they go. So, for my records, and in case you guys are doing this at home, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which from the videos I watched and the information I've looked at, you have 3 up top, 3 on the bottom. That would be right. Although it almost looks like there's supposed to be some there. Could be wrong though. Nothing fell out. There's what the inside of it looks like. You can see it's got a lot of clutch material. I don't know, maybe that's not a lot. Maybe one of you guys watching, if you know transmissions, you could tell me. Like I said, there is a bolt in here somewhere. Might be behind this. That holds the center clutch pack in. Back to it. What I'm gonna do here, since this is a gasket, since that stayed, I'm gonna pull these check balls out individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just using a little magnet. Oh, look at that, there is 2 more check balls. Okay, so 2 of them did fall right there and there. So there is 8 total. And there's that bolt I was talking about. And apparently that is an aluminum bolt that is known to break easy. So we got to make sure to be gentle with that. At 240. You guys are probably gonna laugh that I'm using this little impact gun for everything, but for removal, this thing is great. See, this is an aluminum bolt that's hollow, goes straight through. I believe it's called an accumulator. We're getting there. Definitely a lot of clutch material in here. We're gonna need more brake bleed. There we go, I got that one out now. Set the wiring harness somewhere else for now. So you have to get the valve body off in order to pull your internals out. You can get the pump out and that's about it. There we go. Band. This goes toward the bottom of the transmission, and there's a little ball sticking out on the inside that this sits in. And we have a C-clip. So, let's use a flathead for that. Actually, funny enough, you don't even need a flathead really. You can get it out by hand. Just like that. In the transmission like this. I want to make sure there's nothing fancy about it. Doesn't look like it. Alright, I was recording as I was opening it and I hit a button on my phone, but trans is still where it was. I literally just went inside to get a water, took a sip, and I looked out the door and there was FedEx. So this is the first look. I haven't even opened this yet. Like I said, this is from Summit Racing. Took about, I ordered it Sunday. Obviously, they don't ship on Sunday. Today is Wednesday, so it took 2 days. I love Summit for that reason. I got to notate, I'm not sponsored by Summit. Wish I was, so Summit, if you're listening, feel free. Kind of hard to do with one hand. But this is, I think it was like their brand of a rebuild kit. It is. Right there. So there we have gaskets, seals, lip seals, and pretty much everything we need as far as gaskets go. I'll set that right there for now. Here we have a filter. Nothing really fancy to see there. And there's all the bushings. This is, from what I've read, the most important part on these transmissions. These bushings go bad constant, or pretty much the main failure point. There's a band, which is that band. Yep, looks like it. And these are all the clutches and steels. Looks like this is all clutches. I'm actually just now noticing made in USA. I wonder if this whole kit's made in USA, because that makes me even happier. Very big supporter of made in USA products. Yep, this is all steels. Looks like a nice kit so far. Well put together. Well thought out. Looks like it has everything I'll need. I did notice it said no pistons, which those pistons go, I don't know, inside these somewhere. Once I get them apart, I guess I'll find them. But I did watch the video. It tells you how to check the pistons, and I know in the paperwork that I have, it gives you how to check them. You basically make sure they're flat, and they're supposed to be a certain thickness, and so on and so on. Most of, or actually the whole valve body kit is going to be in here. So there's the gaskets, seals. Oh look, it even comes with new check balls. And there's 8 of them. There's a filter in there. Bunch of little odds and ends. All right, starting to get some of these clutch packs taken apart. This was this one. Not in terrible shape, it doesn't look like, but not in good shape either. Seals are kind of rough looking, etc. That one's not too bad. This one was definitely my issue. That's a steel. I'm not a trans guy, but I do know your steels aren't supposed to be bluing and everything else. I mean, that's a sign of excessive heat. And then the clutch, that's a clutch. Look at that. There's no clutch material. None. So that, I can tell you, for definite, is my problem. That's another steel. Everything on here, like I said, I'm learning too. But it goes clutch steel, clutch steel, clutch steel, and so on. So there's no clutch material on this. This looks like a steel. And that's a steel with clutch material embedded on it. That's a clutch that is destroyed. I mean, you can even see clutches are supposed to be flat, not wavy. That much I do know. A steel again. So, don't know that this was my only issue, but all these clutches look like that and they're all fried. Don't know that this was the only issue, but I can tell it was definitely an issue. I'm gonna have to get a new drum because this one is embedded with clutch material and grooved up, and I just got a feeling there's no saving that. So this is probably gonna turn into a 2-part series because I am gonna get a new drum, and I had a feeling when I pulled this out, you can see that it looks like it got really hot. I wasn't sure if that was from machining, but even right here, I mean, it's almost like an exhaust port. It's blued, so that's trash. I'm gonna pick up a new one of these too, whatever it is. I gotta research and figure all this out, but this thing's real rough feeling inside. So that's going to be a definite problem. So I'm going to have to get that. This kit I looked up only comes with 1 band. I'm not sure why. I just want to replace both. There's 2 bands in this transmission. There's that one that I pulled out, and there's one down in there. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this thing out. I got to actually look at the manual. I haven't bothered to do so yet. So I'm going to look at that next, figure out how this comes out, and I'll be back with you guys.